Let's talk about setting boundaries when working from home. Most people work more hours when they work from home than they do when they're working in the office. So this is a really big deal in terms of understanding how effective and ineffective we can be through sustained periods of working without breaks, without compartmentalized days, so that we can maximize productivity, make sure that the quality of work we're producing is as high as it can possibly be, and really reducing fatigue and the lack of attention to detail that can come if we don't set up boundaries and have really clear work times and non-work times when working from home. So that's what we're going to go into a little bit of detail with today. A really important first step is to decide when you're going to start work and when you're going to finish your working day. It sounds really simple, but it can be a good idea to set up a routine or rituals that you do first thing in the morning. Usually we would have a commute to work. Somehow we would drive, or we would get the train or walk, cycle, whatever it might be. We don't have that now. So we need to set up a waking up time and a morning routine, whether that is just simply listening to some music to get you in a good headspace, having a shower and getting dressed. Really important to get dressed for work. No working in pyjamas or the kind of lounge wear that could make you feel disengaged. We need to be on it just like we would be in a working environment. So getting up, getting dressed, maybe doing some exercise beforehand, but it's a way of separating your home time where you're sleeping and waking to your work time. Get that sorted. Thinking about the environment that you work in as well. Some of us have offices, some of us just have a space where there is a kitchen table or a dining room, some space that we have to make into our workstation during the working hours and then clear it down and bring it back into its original form after we finished work. So once you've decided what your workspace or workstation is, make sure that you have clearly defined boundaries and physically set them up as well. It could be a row of books that separates half the kitchen table or work surface from the kitchen, or some plants that you could set around the area of the table that you've decided to work on, and then you can set them up to create your workspace and then remove them when that work day is over. So it is a physical boundary that you're creating to put you in the right mindset, and it's a physical boundary that you're removing to let your mind go back into your home life. It can be helpful to think of your day as broken down into compartments. So one of those can be doing mundane tasks. They're things that don't require particularly high energy or detailed engagement. Decide when during the day you usually have less energy. That can be a good idea to section off that part of the day for the mundane tasks. The other part two, is the high energy, so creativity or deep thinking, strategic thinking. Decide when you have most energy that will allow you to think creatively, problem solve quickly, and make sure that you do that work in that part of the day if you can. Then the third part is reactive time. That's stuff like emails, phone calls, quick feedback meetings with the team, check-ins, debriefs. That's reactive stuff. You don't necessarily know when it's going to happen in the day, but you know it's going to have to happen. So make sure that you leave a contingency of time during your day to deal with reactive stuff. About 2 hours of my day every day is taken up with reactive stuff. So I leave 2 hours free, which are never free because all the reactive stuff comes in, but I know it's going to happen, so I make sure that I set boundaries so that I have that time to deal with that stuff within my working day. Remember, when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Yes and no isn't necessarily positive or negative. It is just a reality. When we consciously choose to do one thing, we are consciously choosing to not do something else. So decide what that means for you when working from home. You're saying yes to working these hours, And that does mean you're saying no to spending time with the family, homeschooling, exercising, and all the other stuff we could be doing. It's important to say yes to work and no to other stuff. And it's just as important to say yes to this stuff and no to the work stuff at the right time. Decide how many hours a day you can productively, effectively, and produce high quality work. And then set in some boundaries that help you execute and deliver high quality work at optimum standard and efficiency. If you're going to fatigue yourself by working too many hours, your quality of work will decline and your fatigue will get worse. So if you think you're doing a good job by working and working and working and working, just reorganise the reality of that in your mind and make decisions by setting up boundaries where you know you're actually, by taking this 15-minute break or lunch break or playing with the kids for half an hour or going for a run, know that that will reset your mind and your energy and encourage you to produce even better work than if you were just to slog it out for the entire time. Once you've decided what your boundaries are, make sure that you communicate them clearly and assertively with the people in your household, your children, your flatmates, your partner, your colleagues. It's so important that you honour the boundaries that you set up for yourself with discipline and respect to the decisions that you've made when planning your day. When you communicate your boundaries clearly to yourself and others, you're more likely to respect them and stick to them. I hope this has been helpful in giving you some ideas about what kind of boundaries might be useful to set when working from home. See you again soon.